Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hey, look, let's just jump right into it today. And my girl Kasha B, she'll be back with us next week. I thought she would be here this week, but she actually had so much fun in Jamaica, her and her husband. They've had a great time. And so she's like, I'm not going to be on, but she will be back next week. So that will be a really great time, a really great synergy. And I just love when she's here. In the meantime, I'll be carrying the ball. We'll pick up from where we left off last week, talking about codes, actually 7 steps to dating success. Now, you know what? This doesn't have to be 7 steps for dating. These 7 steps are actually codes that a person should be using, whether they are dating, whether they are in a committed relationship, whether they are married, whether they are in a management role, whether they are in leadership, whether they are a business owner, because these codes are tools and strategies that you use when you dealing with other people. They could be clients, they could be employees, it could be your children, it could be your mom, your dad, um, your girlfriend, your boys, your girls. These codes I ran across during a 10-year period where all I did was just study people and dynamics, which came after a divorce and a loss of everything. And I was amazed at the information that I ran across that I didn't know. Because a lot of times we think we know, but we really don't know until we run across some information. And I was actually shocked at some of the things that I learned that I didn't know. And it really just taught me how to be humble and how to really take a look at myself and to see actually how I was wired. And so I'll just do a quick recap. We left off at number 5 last week. So I'll just kind of go through them real briefly. So the reason why the map is so important and I put together, it really started as a piece of paper that I hung on the wall. Now, the whole purpose of why you hang something on a wall is so that you can constantly be reminded to stay focused. So that when you walk in the house, you can see it and stay focused. When you walk out of the house, you can see it, you can say, stay focused. Because life happens, life will life you. And in the process, when that happens, sometimes we move away from directions, success steps, or strategy. And here's a perfect example of that. Whenever you get into an argument with somebody and you continue to argue, you've already moved away from success steps because communication dynamics say when things get heated, take a time out, come back and revisit it. But how many of us actually do that when we get caught up in the moment? Or are we so busy trying to prove our point? We're so busy trying to show that we're right. And really, that is the number one and the main reason for breakdown in relationship dynamics is we're trying to prove our way is right. Think about it, sit back and reflect, and see if I'm not telling you the truth. So, the very first step again was the personal assessment. And the personal assessment I found just to be powerful because that was the information that I learned about myself, my strengths, my values, what I really cherished, how I operate when I have a full cup and how I operate when I'm in overflow, how I operate when I have a half a cup and what I need to fill that cup up, what type of people I need to be around to help me fill my cup up, or it's not their responsibility to fill my cup up, but there are the people that I need to surround myself with that they can see if I have a half a cup that they are contributed. They're not toxic relationships, but they're very powerful dynamics in your circle, in your crew, one that helps build you up. And sometimes you have to swap people out because you will have people that will continue to take and help your cup empty. And so, how do you act when you're out of esteem? How do you act when you're in esteem? Can you tell when somebody else is out of esteem and what to do? And all of these things are just basics. They're the basic foundation of how you interact and create a successful dynamic. Again, client, love relationship, professional relationship. That is a major key to have. The second key is ideal mate profile. It's like kind of having your client profile, your client avatar. If you don't really know how people are wired, it's really hard to market to other people because everybody's not your ideal client. And so knowing that particular piece, that's very important. And then the third one was attraction. Okay. Once we get past the physical attraction, then what? Now, I don't know about other people. I know I got caught up a lot in physical attraction where that was the main thing that hooked me, and then I let everything else work. But it didn't work because I didn't say, okay, physical attraction, check, but let me check that person's character. Let me check how they act when they're out of esteem. Let me see what their strengths are and does it work with my strengths? Are we able to effectively partner together? See, I did none of those things and it was able to create some really bad dynamics, but I also had some really great dynamics because in being a previous athlete, you learn how to be coached, you learn how to redirect, you learn how to adjust. And so there are still some dynamics, even when you're successful, that you have to always be aware of. The third one is true attraction. And that's, what's really on inside that person. Do I really like this person? There's a difference between liking somebody and wanting to do business with somebody just to get money, which that's a no-no for me. But do I genuinely like this person? Do I genuinely effectively partner well with this particular person? Those dynamics are super important. You have your fifth one, which is your developmental rings. Now, with the developmental rings, that's another powerful tool. It's a tool that you can look at with your clients and even yourself. And that first ring, it's the smallest ring. That's kind of who you were. That's who God made you with your gifts and talents. And then there's an outer ring, and that's all of the things we did to develop. Were you a safety in school? Were you on a student council in school? What type of trainings did you do in school? Did you play any athletes in school? Did you graduate? Did you go to college? What courses did you take? What books did you read? And then being able to take that information and then take it to the next ring, which is the contextual ring. And that's the ability to apply instructions and things you've developed when situations come. That's where a lot of people break down. That's where people stay in five-figure range and never move to six-figure range. And that's where people stay in six-figure range and never move to seven-figure range is because of the ability to not take the instructions and follow them when the situation comes up. So those were the first five on the dating roadmap. And by the way, you can get a dating roadmap for free. I'm going to be giving them away. Uh, be able to send you a PDF where you can log in, download the PDF, just to be able to have it. It's actually not in a frame. I put mine in a frame when I had it, but it's actually on a piece of paper. You'll be able to print it out and put it in a frame or just put it on the refrigerator with some magnets or, put it in your bathroom or put it on the back of your door or hang it somewhere because it's important to see where you're at on this road, whether you're married or not. Do you have a good personal assessment of yourself? Do you understand how your mate is wired? Or are you always arguing and y'all have really serious disagreements? All it is just taking some tools and working through the process so that you can have a really good dynamic type of a relationship and really work on your communication style and know how to recognize red flares, and when you see red flares, what to do versus taking things as a personal attack and then not being able to regulate your own self when you have a half a cup. And so those things are very important. But if you want to be able to just have a map free, I'm going to be giving them out for July. Just type in or send me a message, either type in map or type in personal assessment, and we'll be able to get you some information to be able to help you out, so that you can get a deeper understanding of what's going on. And then you actually have number six is the spiritual and rapport check. Now, rapport is just the ability to be able to hang out with somebody and have a good time. Are we cool? Are we, if you never change, are we good? Or is it this press to always get somebody to change to do something, change to be a certain way, change to act a certain way? And then the spiritual check is, do you pray together? Do you worship together? Do both of y'all believe in tithes and offerings? Or is it that one person tithe and the other person doesn't? When you're dating, those things are really important because when the fire come, when the storms come, those, how we pray, how we worship, what we believe in is really super important. Because if you can't fight together, it can end up being a major, major, major problem when that happens. And so that rapport and spiritual check, that's super important to be aware of. And if you're already married, it's really about coming together and figuring out what you want to do together, and start from there. Figure out what you can agree on and start to build from there. Don't focus so much on what you don't agree on, but just kind of focus on what you can agree on from a spiritual standpoint. And maybe every Monday you'll have an opportunity to do some sharing or be able to talk about the things of God, or to be able to talk about something that really spiritually hurt you, that you'd like to get over and move past, or just simply maybe praying for each other, or praying together about a situation that you guys have, and begin to build that type of rapport, especially in today's world, economy, and situations. You're going to need to be able to have a higher power. You're going to need to be able to connect into something else. For me, I'm a Christian. Look, me and my wife, we pray, and we always get together and come together and talk about things on how we want to go and move forward. And so we have a lot of peace, a lot of laughter, a lot of love, a lot of fun in our home. And I really want to see couples, families all across the world have the same exact dynamic. And then finally, on this dating roadmap is the engagement. Once you get engaged, what do you do? Or have you been dating for 5 years and you're not engaged? Been dating for 7 years, not engaged? 10 years, y'all just living together? Okay, that's your business. Just don't be upset because you didn't get a dating roadmap, and start looking at where you're at and then start working on the situation. That's the whole purpose, is to put it up, and it's to create conversation. It's to help create a healthy environment in your situation. And so when you get engaged, there are a couple of books that I think, if I had to recommend one book that you get, if you're not engaged, I recommend one book that you get when you're dating. I've actually had a couple of people thank me. They got married and they said that book was a lifesaver because they already were beginning to experience some of those things that the book, I think it's by Gary, maybe Gary Chapman or Gary Smiley. It's called The Things I Wish I Knew Before I Got Married. It's really good reading. each chapter has a bunch of questions. And really, when you take a look at the questions, it's the dumb things we get into conflicts about. Uh, how we save money, that's important, but some people may come from a family that spends money and that's not important. Some people come from a family that saves money and they have inheritance and they understand about banking. And then those two people get together, and then guess what? One of the first things you start fighting about: money. How much to spend, how much versus how much to save, what to spend things on. All of that could be avoided when you actually understand how you're wired, because each temperament deals with money in a separate way. Um, some temperaments spend money and they like to live for the day. Other temperaments believe in, look, we're going to track everything we spend line by line item. Another temperament say, well, look, I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to spend it if it's going to help us excel. And then another person is their way they spend money. They love to spend money on being comfortable, having a very comfortable home. And sometimes people don't believe in that. And those things cause conflicts. But guess what? When you know how somebody's wired, then you can understand how they operate before you even move further down the dating road. Or if you're in the dating road, or if you're already in a relationship, look, it's simply about being aware. And once you're aware, you're halfway there to creating some harmony. And so those are the 7 steps, 7 checkpoints, and they're really relationship codes that you need to have in order to be able to have a healthy and successful relationship dynamics. Okay, so next week, Kasha is going to be back. We have a bunch of questions that have come in. We really hope that this helps somebody. Hey, don't be afraid to type in map in the chat, and I will make sure that I get you a map or opportunity to get a free download PDF of the dating roadmap, just so that you can have and you can post it. Or if you want to know more about the personal assessment, look, I've been studying that personal assessment and using it for more than 3 decades. And let me tell you, it is gold. It is a major key to success. And I use it in every single thing I do. All right, y'all, that's my time. Hey, I hope you had a happy Wednesday. I hope you found some of the information is very helpful. Also, if there is a topic that you would like to have me cover or have me talk about when it comes down to relationships, because it's not going to just stay focused on dating, it's also going to be towards business, business owner, entrepreneur. All of those things are going to become a part of that. We're just focusing on the relationships because I see a lot of hurting people. I see um, divorce. I see families separated. And I really feel really to the pit of my heart about the kids, and why did the two people get together if they wasn't going to make a commitment to stay together? And it's probably because they never knew how to date, what to look for before they even picked the right mate. And then it's just turns out to be a big mess. And so I want everybody to be blessed, stay safe, and I will see you next Wednesday at 5 o'clock with Kasha B. All right, take care.